Yeah, but I was logged in on my phone, so like everything was popping up on that too. Okay, now I'm good. I'm on just my computer.
I got a soundboard on the iPad here. Can you hear it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll turn it all the way up. And I got a long one in case somebody really fucks up. And then I got the intro. You know, we're gonna add to it.
Oh shit.
We're stepping it up for 2023. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Big
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah. Gotta get to blow up your car in the background. We're good to go here. And I'm just gonna test the Safari audio real quick. Can you hear this?
He was cheap.
Yeah, I hear that like
きっかけ
perfect.
がね、最初から挑戦的で
This
したから
guy
ね。
was
パソコ
creating
ンで
graphics in
ど
Excel.
うしたら絵描けるだろう。絵の具か
Somehow he
Of
could
a
like
volcano.
draw in
で
the
そういうことがで
spreadsheets.
きるんだっていうのはまあそれ
I've seen that before. I never like clicked on it or did anything, but I've heard of him before.
It's crazy shit. And if you notice in the bottom right hand corner, I got the logo animated over there now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We are good to go here. Yeah, so where should we start? Do we start with some edits? Do we start with some house shit?
Like before, like when we were trying to get everything set up, I was watching Swampfest stuff. I think that's like what everybody's probably paying attention to right now at this time. Like new videos popping up like every couple of hours practically. It seems like they really got it pinned down with like the quality of the videos that are popping up online.
Yeah. Yo, your beard / jacket's doing the whole brush
Ah,
microphone
fuck.
thing.
On the headphones?
Yeah, if you tuck that one bud into your shirt like you did before, that would probably work. Your right one.
Yeah, what did I do before?
The right one. You took the bud out and put it in your shirt. And I think too far.
Good?
Far. You got that little chunky thing you need to stick out. The little volume control, that's your microphone.
Caveman, told you.
That sounds bad.
Is it working now?
Yeah, you're solid.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay still with only one?
Yeah, because I'm just looking at the freaking window in the background, blowing everything out. Like this room's no better than the room I used to be in. So whatever.
It's all good. It happens. I saw the. I'm hearing myself like in double time, which is mad annoying, and I can hear myself too much, but it's gonna record fine. So I just got to get over it.
Cool.
So yeah, I saw the swamp shit. There was like a walkthrough, like course walkthrough, and I'm like, the place is already fucking burnt down. Like, can we get this like a week before it gets burnt?
Okay, so I didn't click on that one yet, but I saw Trey in the thumbnail, and I saw like course overview or whatever, and didn't watch. I watched the beginning one from Dig where they were showing building it. Then I watched like the Reed Stark like vert wall jam, and then the Pit Viper jam.
Right.
Wasn't bad.
I haven't watched any of them yet. I just saw little bits on Instagram and the thumbnails on YouTube. But I get it though. They're like building all the way up until the last second, but it's like, fuck, man, it's already burnt. It's almost like, why even watch that? I'm rather just watch the actual riding and not even watch a walkthrough.
Yeah. Well, you were talking about like, everything getting torn down, everything getting burned down, and then pouring the cement, and that's exactly what Baboon says in the one edit. I forget which one it was, but he was like, yeah, it's a mind fuck to put all this effort into stuff, be here for weeks, getting everything ready, and then it just gets burned down at the end. It's just, I guess that is a weird concept to work so hard and then know that it's just, I don't know. Just, it is weird.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it is. That's how he's doing his project, Props to him for being able to put on something like so big and so crazy,
Oh yeah, for sure. It seems like that's the one reliable thing, It's going to pop up every year. Awesome content's going to come out. It's going to be really watchable. And I'm not sure what else comes to mind. I'm probably missing something, but that one is really reliable.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like the new ghetto comp in a way.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Like, I don't think they were burning the ramps down at the end, but at the same time, it's like, what other ratty DIY kind of thing is there?
Yeah, I don't know. There could be something we're forgetting, but that is like the number one.
Yeah. Shit. So I'm excited to watch more of that shit and check it out. It seems pretty sick. I saw Reed Stark do the rail all the way up.
Yeah, with the bell at the top. That was a cool challenge, or not challenge, whatever you want to call it. That was a cool contest. Because when you're building that, how high do you expect somebody to go? Like, where do you stop building that? That's not going to be attainable.
Yeah, I saw his caption where it said he didn't hit the bell, but he's happy to walk away from it. I'm like, yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because you can throw yourself at that 1,000,000 miles an hour, and you could hit the bell, but that doesn't mean you're going to roll away from it. It doesn't mean you're going to make it backwards. Exactly. So you got to take that into account when you're trying to go for it too. So it is funny to think about.
Damn, did I even bring a cup up here to drink? Oh yeah, I got some water. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. You think you would have done it?
Not in front of all those people. Like realistically, like in my old age, like I'd love to try it when nobody was looking, and I would take it so slow. Like I wouldn't haul at it. I'd feel it out and do it super slow at first. Not super slow. I'd take it in like increments.
Yeah.
To feel it out, and yeah, I don't know. I don't think I either wouldn't do well under pressure, or it would like fully egg me on into something out of my realm of ability. So it'd be like a bipolar kind of thing. I don't know. People don't look at me, or I'm going to go insane. I don't know what would happen.
Have you ever entered any contest before? I don't know if we ever talked about that.
Oh my God. So the Union Ramp Park back in maybe, I guess I was like 19 or 20 years old. Paul Horan, and I believe it was with Bone Death at the time. We used to have Union Ramp Park in Westchester. It was called Borderline when it was a skateboard only park. It was indoors, and it shut down for a couple years or so. It was only skateboards, shut down for a couple years. It reopened as Union Ramp Park. And after being open for some amount of time, whether it was a year or two, but I do believe it was Paul Horan with Bone Death. They added a bunch of like goofy ass obstacles. I entered that, and I don't even remember what happened. I think I just had. I do remember that was the first time I ever saw Ben Hiddle and Garrett Reeves. They came up, I guess, from Maryland, and they were in it. And I think I did a run, and I had no idea how a contest worked. Like I kind of got hung up on one. Like I didn't use the whole course. I kind of just had no idea what I was doing. So it didn't really amount to anything for me. And then I do remember years ago, I don't even know if I can drive yet. I mean, I was probably 14, 15, 16. Our local shop, Lowriders, had a contest in their parking lot. I mean, that was a long time ago. I did the bunny hop contest, and I want to say I came in like third. But no, I never did anything contest-wise otherwise.
Did you feel any pressure just doing that kind of stuff?
I didn't feel at the time, like the Lowriders contest, it was cool because I was like the young guy, like I'd never done anything like that, and like I knew I could bunny hop high back then, so I knew that was kind of like something I did want to partake in, even though I was so young. And then the Union contest, it was all the homies. It was more of like the non-locals that I think I was maybe just like shy or aware of, or I don't know. I had the guys I rode with every single Friday night or every single weekend, and kind of knew how they all rode, and we kind of all rode slightly differently and had our like strengths and weaknesses. And then you had these other guys come in, and it was just this mix-up where like you didn't know what they were gonna do, and I don't know. I guess I'm like neutral on how that went.
Right. That's cool though. You had a little bit of confidence.
Yeah.
I entered like one contest ever. But it was like at the Lebanon Park, so it was like, this is my jam.
Yeah.
I mean, I was barely had any bike control, but it was still your local, so you had confidence there. That was actually when I got the nickname Snakebite.
So that was way back. That was like you, Cody, and Brandon, and who else would have been there?
Oh, dude. So Fatim came, Dan Foley came. Dan Foley, Fatim, all the Jesse J, and a bunch of the Philly dudes like Ben, like that were from Reading actually.
Oh shit, they came out. Okay,
they
cool.
all came, and Kyle put my name in as Snakebite, and at that point in time, I did not like that name. I thought I was whack. I just wanted to be called my own real name because I'm like, it's my first fucking contest. I was like, I wasn't sure where, you think you have a BMX career at that point, you're just all kinds of things. But what ended up happening is when I went to go move to Philly, all the people that were now living in Philly remembered me from that event.
Yeah.
And then that's how that snowballed out of control.
That's funny.
Yeah. But hey, we're here. Dude, what kind of jacket is it? That thing looks sick.
Redhead from Cabela's. I don't know. I liked it because it was right. So it's the quarter zip with the hoodie. So I just kind of like that. I hadn't really seen that before. Yeah. So you can kind of undo that or zip it up all the way and still have the hood. So
it looks like a parka or something, maybe. I don't know.
What'd you say?
Is it like a parka?
No, it's just a hoodie. It's just a hoodie, but the neck. I mean.
Oh, it's just a hoodie.
Oh, it's just a hoodie. Yeah, it's just a hoodie with like a quarter zip, but then also a hood. So just something a little different I hadn't seen before.
Nice. Solid. I'm breaking in some new merch. This is actually...
Yeah, I know. I tried mine on the other night, and I was like, please don't shrink too bad in the washer.
Oh, don't dry your shit, man. Don't try it.
Yeah. No, they fit. The blanks they fit well enough that I don't think they're going to shrink too bad. I was pretty psyched on the fit of them.
Nice. Solid. Hell yeah. Well, we're dialing things in here one problem at a time, Fucking
yeah. Speaking of like dialing stuff in, I kind of had that on our little outline. If you wanted to talk about like R&D and some of the stuff you've been going through for the past few months, like, did we try to cover that in the last our failure pod? Did we talk about that a little bit?
A little bit. I don't think we did like a full thing or anything.
I think, and now you have like the full blown success. Like it's done. Like you got it dialed in. Like you're the final product. Like it was so cool to see that whole thing from inception to whatever the fancy word would be, finalization.
Yeah, it was. I can't believe how much work went into it, but coming out of the other side, especially being able to get it to look exactly the way I want, but also having like the skills to take to other things now. Like, if I wanted to 3D model our house, I could. Like,
yeah,
it'll be a little rough around the edges because I'm not gonna put in everything like the molding or some random shit, but it's like it's baptism by fire, like, you teach it. What's it called? When you teach yourself, like trial and error, you have no one to bitch to you because you made a mistake except for yourself, and because of that, like, you have more patience with yourself, but also like you learned it the hard way, so now you're building on it kind of faster. I mean, it's like you learn slower, but you remember harder.
Yeah, and like what causes what to go wrong or where the failures are going to be, and know how to avoid them in the future.
Oh yeah, I can't believe how much fucking money and time I wasted trying to figure this shit out, but it's there now. The ledge stress.
You'll recoup a chunk of that, don't you think? Like you'll recoup some of what went into it, and I mean, somebody could even come to you and say, "Hey, design this," and you could design it and not go right to success. Mm-hmm. And like you said, add that to your resume.
Yeah.
And you could do that.
Once this ledge dressing drops and companies or people want to come to me to get their custom wax shit figured out, I can help them. I ain't gonna want to be the one pouring it, because I'll tell you that shit's a labor of love.
Yeah, you just like sell the mold and that's it.
Yeah, because it's just so much work. I don't want to be pouring anybody else's wax. There's no margin for profit.
Yeah.
In your own shit, let alone doing it for someone else. And it's like, all right, so now how much are you gonna charge for this? There's no room for it. But just doing something cool is fun,
Oh yeah, doing it for yourself instead of paying somebody else to do. I mean, we're talking about somebody paying you, but I mean, at least like you weren't paying somebody else to do it.
Yeah, I tried to pay somebody else to do it. That's what fucking happened, and it kept shitting the bed over and over again. I was like, all right, well, and you helping me acquire the 3D printer was like a huge step, because
well, we talked about Hinkins making wax a little while back, and I think his mold was like all made out of aluminum. But, it wasn't branded. It didn't have a logo on it or anything. But I know that was his mold process. And he kind of just like dive into that. And then you took it so many steps farther to get the logos on there and form everything, get a specific shape thanks to printing it.
Yeah, I don't know how the big brand BMX companies are making their wax or how they're sending it overseas to get it done. I was checking them out. Like some of them, like the one E-Clat one, it had like graphics sticking out of all every side of it. And I was like, damn, that looks actually really good. See, I have a new appreciation for like a finished wax product at this point.
Yeah, and even just the recipe of the wax, because how many times have you gone to CVS or the dollar store and you buy some wax that you go to wax and the colored outside falls off and then inside is all sandy and grainy and it ultimately sucks to use?
Yeah, I did that before. I tried to buy. I have a very specific brand of wax I've been using since I started. And once you said to me, this shit slides really good, because you would always have like a fucking dinner plate of wax with you at all times. And I was like, if Loughead gives me a compliment on the wax, then I know it's good because he's been, using everything. So I ended up trying to go the cheap route and I ordered some shit off Amazon. And I melted it down, I tried it, and I sent one to Ishan. This was like over a year ago, 2 years ago. I don't know how long ago, and I was like, yo, how was it? And he's like, not good. And I went to go try it. I'm like, yo, this is slowing down the ledge. What the fuck?
Wow.
Yeah, it was like just some really shitty off-brand stuff.
And
it's like, all right, so mixture is really important. And fucking smell. Ledge dressing is going to come with a nice smell, and I don't know if any other bike wax is coming with a smell.
Yeah, I wonder too. That's something I've like fallen out of the loop of that. I don't know who's offering what, or like the last actual company wax that I've seen, it was a long time ago that I kept up with it.
Yeah, and just yesterday I made it a point to go look at all the bike companies and all their waxes and see what the fuck's going on, see if they're it smells like cherries or something. Nope. It's not even in their fucking. If it does smell, they're not even telling you it smells. It's like, all right, cool. Because guess what? Ledge dressing is going to be the best shit you can fucking buy. This is
any other company. I picture their wax smelling like the hockey puck in a urinal, like that cherry smell. Like I just picture that being the smell for some reason.
Yikes. Yep. And we could talk about this. The smell that I am using for ledge dressing original is discontinued. In its normal form, so I had to go get it in liquid form, which I don't know how much longer that's going to keep going, so I had to stock up on that. And I fucked up. I put the smell into wax and I didn't mix it well enough on one of the times I was casting it, and it completely didn't mold correctly. So you have to like really mix it in there well, because like the chemicals or whatever, I don't know.
Well, people definitely see a difference. Like there's sometimes you use like the dollar store wax and you might have to like double fist grind it into the rail, up and down 20 times, or you take like, one of your little bricks and you do one run and you're good. And you're not blowing out the entire brick trying to wax up like an already steel rail. It's just like that little bit you need on there and you're good.
Yeah, you might not even need to do all sides of the rail. You might just do one swipe on that thing. That's all you really need.
Yeah, and you're not using both hands, forcing your entire upper body to like grind this wax. It's like a nice like just on and you're good.
Yeah. When it comes to breaking in a brand new ledge, that remains to be seen and what you can get away with there, because I wouldn't advise using that little puck on breaking in a ledge. But then again, I saw Angus with the fucking brick rub when we rode that what do they call it, mini baldy, that spot in Philly.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fake baldy, mini baldy,
yeah. I've been there a couple times. Never have we ever waxed or grinded those steps into the bank. And then that one day when we were all to get there together and Angus is out there with the brick rub, he dialed it in, like just rubbed it, and then somebody hit it with some wax, and it was like, holy fuck. I'm thinking next product idea is an Angus brick rub.
Oh shit. Well, Gerber made that handle for was it Feeble Wax? He made that brick rub handle.
Oh shit, did he?
I think so. I saw it pop up a little while ago, and I think he made like a feeble. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was a feeble life handle for a brick rub.
Sick.
Yeah.
Nice.
It depends too, like the amount of effort you put into a ledge or whatever. Like, am I ever going to be back here? How long do we have to be here? How bad do I want to get this done? So there's like all those factors that go into how much time and energy you put into a spot.
Yeah, and if you have metal and plastic, or you have the option to put on plastic while you're there at the spot, you're probably not gonna have to put as much wax down.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the pod you did with Howard, I thought I had all these extra goofy things I did, and then when he was dropping like different pedal sizes, different peg lengths, I was like, holy shit, I never took it that far. Geez, the pedal size, that was cool to hear, because that never, I mean, I've had that issue, but it never dawned on me to carry different size pedals. Like, I never even thought about that. And then the idea of having like a 5-inch long peg, like if you needed it, I was like, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, and the fact that clip was that one clip, like the feeble hop over grind down, was completely integral to having, like you said, he nipped his pedal on the way up still, like he had to change his setup for it. So wild. Like, such a calculated rider,
Yeah, and like that is the worst feeling when skill wise you can achieve something and it's like your mechanical technology, whatever you want to call it, that's holding you back. Like, you can physically do that, but it's like, I'm hitting this thing that I can't change right now, but if you could change it, you could get it done.
Yeah, that's what made me first put on plastics. I was riding a Sub Rosa rail, and it was like, obviously it was about to rain or whatever, but I would wax it all the way up, fucking 3 ways to Sunday, and I still couldn't get to the end of a Sub Rosa rail. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. This is trash. Yep. Like, let me throw on some plastics. I was like seeing my one buddy just slide, and like, it's like he's not having a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like humidity comes into play, weather. Oh, and that's the other thing, is like the winter blend is a softer wax, so that way you're not like double fisting trying to smear some shit on your rail.
Oh, that's like a real thing too, because I remember taking like my brick of wax, like, years ago, in the bag and putting on the defrost in my van, like just cranking up the defrost, getting the wax soft, and then going out, because it was frozen from being in my van, and you're riding in like the winter and it's, in the 20s or 30s outside. So yeah, it is. That never even dawned on me either. Like, oh, you can have wax. It's different densities. Never even dawned on me back then.
We're taking over the wax game right now. Feeble Life's cool. All the big brand companies, though, we're coming for you. Shit. Man.
Oh, excuse me. No. Who you're really coming for is Park Tools and their levers. They better watch out.
Yeah, buddy.
Coming in. I think I've sent you like 40 pairs of levers.
Bow, bow. You could see them like right there over my shoulder. They're in the box.
Yeah.
They came out so fucking good. Like, so sturdy.
That filament, I'm just absolutely in love with that filament. I'm so happy with how that prints and how strong it is, and like that orange. I was just telling Gerber the other day, I was like, that is my favorite filament that I've done anything with.
I can't break it. If you're breaking it, you're probably using it wrong.
I'm gonna be impressed if you break it. Show me it broken and I'll print more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'd love to print more, figure something out, or
yeah. Fuck, man.
Could you put that guarantee out here? If you break this on your bike, we'll send you another one.
then you get one that got claimed, and you see it, and it's like half hacksawed, and it's like,
yeah, really.
It's like the old school Haro warranty all over again.
Yeah. Well, I've had the Park Tool, the blue levers, and then I had some yellow brand for a couple years, and I remember in the cold I snapped the blue ones.
Yeah.
And then I want to say the yellow ones, whatever brand that was, might have been so hot I bent them and couldn't use them anymore. I don't know. Maybe it just depends on leaving your tools in your car, and like that's really the test of strength.
Yeah, I remember having a pair of the blue ones like completely just give up, like just turn into limp noodles, and
yeah,
I was like, what the fuck is this?
Well, and nowadays you have things so much easier when you have a low profile rim with a 2.5 tire. Back in the day, we had like a 195 with a Alex triple wall that you're trying to get off. So it was different back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. I tried it on my my old E-Clat rim that I'm now currently retiring. Used to be a bitch to get tires on and off, and the levers worked perfectly on that guy. So I'm like, that's a good sign, you know. So yeah, lots of new products dropping here really soon. I can't thank you enough for helping with the levers. It was.
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, it's been fun trying everything out and seeing what works well, and it just doing the R&D on something like that helps me print that much better and understand filaments and like understand different settings. So
yeah,
I loved having a little project like that. I had so much fun doing that.
Fuck yeah. How are other things going? Should we step in the house stuff? Work?
Oh,
stuff,
dude, real life stuff. Like I was glad you texted me this morning because you were like, oh, we're still gonna do that pod. And I'm like dragging ass, not even really getting my day started. And I was like, oh fuck, I have to get all these things done before Matt and I are gonna do this. And it helped get my ass in gear. Do you know when you want to get all these things done, but they really, not that they don't have urgency, but they don't have to be done by any time.
Right. Yep.
So I've had a lot of dumb projects like that. Like we're redoing, not even really redoing, we're just repainting the whole upstairs. And then I swapped my office with, you remember the spare room you stayed in?
Yeah.
So I moved my office into there, and we kind of got rid of the spare room concept because we said, okay, we've been here 3 years. We've had 4 times somebody slept over. So we've used that room 4 times in 3 years. So like, do we really need a spare room? So we kind of got rid of that. But I guess like my mentality is I always want our house to be turnkey ready if we want to sell. Like I want to be able to sell at any minute and have the whole house. Like when we bought the house, we picked, not that we picked out all these things, but there were things that we picked out, and we kind of had the sellers by the balls, and they, fixed that or replaced this or updated that. And when we sell, I just wanted to be like, this is ready to go. You don't have to do anything. Just move in. You're good. Everything's addressed. And that's what I'm always trying to keep up with. So trying to just keep things as new as possible and as like modernized and not really falling behind on things.
Yo, for real, I put in a smart smoke alarm, like a Google Nest smoke alarm.
Oh, that's cool.
And I installed it and I was like, yeah, Leanne, it's all set up. And I didn't even understand the exact use of it until she was like, yeah, in case we're away, we will know if there's something wrong at the house.
Oh, we have to talk about that after the pod because that is one of my biggest concerns because the neighbors below me like don't speak English and I think they're old. The neighbors above me are 95 years old. I don't know if they can freaking hear anything. And then I think I told you before, the guy behind me, I actually went to high school with. And there was one day that I heard, have you ever heard like a house security alarm going off? Like that noise, that like ping noise? Like an ADT or a Sloman Shield or whatever,
never
like
in
that
real life,
ping.
maybe in like a movie or something.
So I went outside to like do something with the dog and I heard that ping. Yeah. And it was kind of either coming from his neighborhood or it could have even been his house. And I texted him and I said, hey man, this might be overkill or it might just be like, I don't know. I said, I would want somebody to tell me, but I hear a security alarm going off like kind of towards your house. And he was like, oh, it's not mine, but thanks for texting me. And I said to him, I'm like, yeah, I'm worried if we weren't home and our smoke alarm was going off, would anybody outside of the house ever hear that?
Right. Dude, they're worth it, man. Some smart shit is actually worth it.
Yeah, I want to look into that. I like the sound of that, getting some kind of alert on my phone if I'm not home, if it was going off.
Yeah, and you can address it just like you were there. Call the cops, get somebody over there. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
So we got a Nest thermostat for our like wedding whatever thing, shopping list where people.
I remember you saying that, yeah.
And that was one of those things where I was like, this is going to be one of those things that we put into the house that like when we go to sell the house, they're going to be like, oh, cool. There's some like it's a little bit older house, but it has some kind of updated things to it.
Yeah.
I can't fucking figure out the cords because like I watched a YouTube video where they were like, oh, because you need like a fifth cord for the nest. You need a power that comes to it, or else you can use a battery. You can set it up with a battery, but when that battery goes out, you're shit out of luck. If that battery
does it alert you when the battery's dead? Like, does it like chime or anything?
It does. So if you stayed up on it, you should be good. But then you'd also need like a steady supply of batteries, which is kind of weird. I mean, unless you had like a rechargeable one.
It would be cool to see the battery last 6 months. But if you're going through monthly batteries, that's whack.
Yeah, it's a good point. Like maybe I should try and set it up anyways. But like what I saw on YouTube was like this guy's like, oh yeah, you buy the wire with the 5 cords in it. And you go down your basement and you basically tie the new wire to the old wire and you go up to where the hallway is and you just pull it. You just ran the cord and now you just plug it in and you're all set. But with my house, this guy built this whole shit himself. So so the cord comes down and then spider webs out into all these different contacts and then on a beam. On like a wooden beam, and then there's another one right here, and they all like fucking crisscross onto this other contact, and then that goes to an electrical panel that completely confused the fuck out of me. I'm like, but like you said, like that's one of those things where you're trying to update your house a little bit. So like I'm excited to get that on now that I got the smoke detector going. I'm like, oh cool, now we can fucking talk to each other and we can set shit without having to do it manually. But yo, while we're on the topic of fucking heating and cooling, like HVAC shit, this fucking wing nut. So do you?
Oh yeah, you sent me that, and I was like, "What is that?" I was so just perplexed by that in that duct, whatever you call that. Just what is that?
Yo, so it was like all janky and loose and rusted out. But it was all working. And then Leanne's uncle came through the one day and he's like, dude, we got to fix that. That's fucked up. And I'm like, all right. So we went and we fixed it. We got brand new tubing. We got a brand new, I don't even know what it's called, like soffit vent, something weird. And we put it all in and we got it to work. And then later we were like, man, it's kind of fucking cold in here. Like, what's going on? The blower was pulling it, but the igniter wasn't actually lighting the gas, and it's like, oh, so we're just like pumping gas out of the house, like we're not even. So I've woken up multiple times with the heat not running and I could hear like just the motor whizzing, and it's like it's just this dumb little wing nut on this stupid little thing that keeps the draft from coming into your pipe further. So basically it creates like a certain amount of pressure so that it can actually ignite the gas. So you have a fan upstream that's going to pull everything forward. But that fan is like, I guess, not necessarily overpowered, but it's pulling too hard. So you have to use this damper to make it so it's not pulling so hard. So it can actually light. And the other night, I had this all set up. And then the other night, I woke up in the middle of the night. I'm like, I just hear it going, and it's freezing in here. Like, if I would have kept sleeping for the rest of the night, like we would have had like frost in the inside our windows or some shit. It's like 17 degrees out.
What's cold in your house? Like, what do you consider cold? Like, what would be low for you guys?
We keep our thermostat set at like 60.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. My hat is off to you that you're allowed to get away with that. I wish I could run the house at 60. Shit.
Well, it gets hot. Like, what I also learned is you can change the temperature of how hot the air's coming out, like to your vents. You can change that somehow. I'm not exactly positive how it works, but so when the heat does go on, even if it's set at 60, like certain parts of the house are kind of like hot pockets where it's like, if we set it to like 65, we're like sweating in certain parts of the house.
Damn. Okay.
So it's weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we keep it low, but then like once it drops below 60, you start like feeling a draft and you're like, shit, it's getting cold in here. What's going on? So, and then like the little thing I was telling you about with the wing nut,
Yeah.
It'll start rattling and get mad annoying, like just this weirdest, like, even when it's tight, it'll rattle, right? Well, semi-tight. And the one day it was rattling, and I was like, fuck this, I'm going down there. I went down there, and everything was running. The heat was actually pumping. And I went and I touched it to tighten it so it didn't rattle, and burnt the shit out of my fingers. Luckily, it didn't even, like...
It was that hot?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Because what's that close to? Like, isn't that, like, right by, like, your rafters or something?
I mean, sort of, but, like, it's not going to light anything on fire like that. Like,
just the idea it's pumping out that much heat like that sucks. That it's not more insulated.
Yeah, you're just not supposed to touch it. And that's the other thing I read in that book was, like, insulating your vents to get more efficiency out of them.
Yeah, yep.
It's so cool. Like, learning all kinds of shit, like, just like you said before about, like, random shit, just cleaning up the house. Like, I'm starting to finally figure out what you're talking about. Like,
yeah,
we have this little closet. It's a little shit closet, and you have to shut it kind of hard to get it to latch. And sometimes I'll, like, doof, 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 click, like,
yeah.
And Leanne gets all pissed off because I'm, like, basically spiking the door shut. And I was like, all right, I know how to fix this. I don't know why I never fixed it before. So I took off the metal plate, dremeled like an 1/8 inch further in it, mounted it back in, chiseled out the wood, and I was like, people probably lived here this whole time, slamming that fucking thing for the past 50 fucking years.
Yeah, either it was like older people that didn't know better, or younger people didn't know better, or somebody flipped it, whomever. Yeah, it's taking a little bit of time, having the right tools, kind of like dialing something in.
Yep.
And they probably just put that in there the way it was sent to them, like from the factory, and it never worked right.
Yeah, and it's like this shit. I mean, I hate the closet because it's so narrow. I can't even, like, go into it to, like, pull something out. I have to turn sideways to even get anything. So I already hate the closet, but it's like that shit would fucking add. Like, little shit adds up throughout the day. Like, if I have to deal with that closet, and now Leanne's mad at me because I fucking slammed the closet, it's like, all right, now there's no issue. I can gently close it. It works perfectly, and it's like, and every time I open it now, it's like a little bit of peace. I'm like,
oh yeah, there's so many things I fix that it took me more time to get all the tools out than actually fix the annoying issue.
Hell yeah.
And I mean, in a good way. It's like just a matter of not being lazy. Just get the tools out of the basement, get the tools out of the garage, fix whatever's bothering you, and then it's going to be good to go for the next person.
Yeah, it pays it forward. Like, that's never not going to pay it forward.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Fucking A, man. House shit, dog.
And it never ends. It never ends. No matter, like, you could totally think you see the end in sight. It's never done. I don't know. Like, I guess I'm hearing my dad's voice, like, in the back of my head, like what I grew up with or something, but it's just never, there's always something else to do. Even just with yard work, like the yard work being seasonal, you're always doing something, whether you're shoveling snow, bringing firewood in, mowing the lawn, like you're always doing something. Like, these are like 30-year-old problems. I don't know, there's probably some kind of meme out there making fun of us, but like 30-year-old issues.
And I don't know if we talked about this last episode, but a fucking tree fell on my house.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know you were going to talk about that. Like, you sent me the picture, and I just thought, yep, I knew those pine trees. That was going to happen. Like, seeing those pine trees in your backyard, that's what they do.
And then the arborist, so, like, the tree falls in our yard. I was, like, gonna just try and handle it for some reason because it looked like it didn't really do any damage. And then shout out to Andrew Varguson. He's like, dude, just call the insurance. Like, first thing homeowners insurance is fucked up. So
any insurance,
insurance in general is a fucking scam.
Yep.
And basically, they couldn't give us, like, a claim or anything until the tree was off. But who's going to pay for the tree to get off?
Yeah, exactly. You're going to pay for it, then you're going to be trying to get reimbursed, and it's going to suck.
It's one of those things where they're like talking to you by the book, but realistically what they're trying to say is you can go around the book. Like, I said to him, I'm like, so y'all can't come and check this out until the tree's off. And they're like, correct. I'm like, so what if I fall and get hurt trying to take the fucking tree off? And they're like, well, so basically we had the tree dude come and get us a quote, and then we submit that to insurance. And insurance is like, all right, as long as there's damage, you guys will get reimbursed for that. And it's like, well, so if there's no damage, we could have just did it ourselves and never even bothered with the headache.
Yeah.
So the dudes come and they mowed through that shit so fucking fast. And but when they came, the quote dude, the arborist, he came and he saw our trees and he's like, those should never be planted that close.
Dude, that's what I said. That's what I said when I was there.
It's like they're way too grown in. They should be huge trees, but they're never going to be that big because they're kind of crowding each other out. And then I realized like how much of a liability it is to have trees on your property, especially tall ones.
Well, and there's pines because the boughs break so easily.
Yeah, exactly. And so the tree dudes come, they make light work out of it, way lighter work than I would ever, done with it. And there was like a dent in like the aluminum thing on our roof, and that was about it. Which we're lucky because after the tree was removed, now we're trying to get the insurance guy out here to actually look at it, right? The insurance guy is not allowed to come out here unless the roof is completely clean and dry. In
oh my God,
February in upstate. So
in Albany. Yeah, how long is that gonna take?
Which for us we can deal with, we can live with, because my window is still intact. But the tree came inches. It like cornered our house where both windows had tree limbs inches away from the window. And the insurance guy, the evaluator, comes in and he's like talking to me about everything under the sun, about how hard and annoying his job is. And I'm like, bro, it sounds like you need a new fucking job, man. You're not built for this.
What was that movie with Ben Stiller when he was the insurance agent? Remember that? With
Is it?
Oh my, Along Came Polly, when he was the insurance person.
Oh shit, I don't.
And he was like always going on about stuff like that.
Yeah, and the guy's like, after he came to, right when he got to my house, he was like, I just had to walk away from a house that had a huge hole in it because like if the temperature's not over 40 degrees as well, they won't come out. This is all state stuff. Other insurance companies might be cooler about this, but Allstate, goddamn, fuck it, get your shit together. So like, if you have like a huge hole in your roof, they don't give a fuck. You're gonna have to just tarp it and live with it like a squatter until it's warm enough or dry enough for them to come out and look at it.
You know what though? I wonder if that's Allstate, because my parents had a tree fall in their house in the past year, and they made out like bandits. They got a brand new roof. They redid all the siding. They redid, it fell on their AC unit. They redid the AC unit. And it was like the best thing that ever happened to the house, that the tree fell on the roof and put a hole in there, because they redid pretty much the whole exterior of their house because of that tree.
Damn. Well,
yeah. I guess, I don't know if they have Erie or, some other like mainstream big name brand.
Yeah, it sounds like they had some real damage too.
Yeah, well, you're saying actual hole through the roof, and I know they had a hole in the roof, like daylight in the attic.
Wow.
And that was how it worked out for them. But they live back in the middle of the woods too, like pretty similar to your backyard.
It's insane. I still haven't gotten like updated paperwork since the insurance dude's been here. It's crazy. We'll see what happens. More later.
Yeah, it never ends, like we were saying.
Yeah. Where do we go from here? What do you want to talk about next? We got through the house stuff. You started a new job.
We didn't get through the house stuff. I just didn't want to bore people with everything because I could go on about house stuff freaking forever. Like, I don't know. If you said, Matt, my audience is 70% white men in their late 30s, like I would just talk forever about house stuff.
The demographic is like late 20s to 30s.
Yeah.
That's definitely the demographic so far. Some girls are listening too. Shout out to them.
Oh, content overload. You know, I know you said that. We've been saying content overload for the last like at least a year easily. Mm-hmm. And it is hard keeping up with stuff because we're watching videos on YouTube. I'm like, yo, Matt, you got to watch this. You're listening to podcasts. Yo, Matt, you got to listen to this. And I got a new job, and my commute is a bit longer now. I probably have about a 25-minute commute. Mm-hmm. So I've been pumping through the podcasts, and COD especially just really made me reevaluate how I conduct myself in a podcast and how I think about things and how I present myself. And it made me, not that I didn't appreciate your time or not that I didn't respect your time, but in the back of my mind, I would say like, oh, Matt's going to edit this out, or, oh, Matt will just do this. And you're fucking busy. You know, you're busy doing stuff. Yeah. And if I'm going to ramble or I'm going to go down a rabbit hole, you might not have the time to cut that out. So I need to focus on what I say, make sure it's important, make sure it's relevant, and not ramble like I had been. Because I really got into COD, Steve-O. I like Steve-O's podcast. Yeah. The Unclicked podcast were another one. Keeping up with yours. And I guess that was, I mean, COD just kind of like took over everything. I'm like, okay, I got 2.5 hours a week now. That's what I'm going to listen to. The Unclicked ones, I'm not always the biggest fan. Like, you know, you and I have talked about that. They have to be really PC, or sometimes they say weird things, or it's cool when a pod doesn't have to answer to anybody. Yeah. And even though COD has to answer to Dig, I don't ever feel like he is presenting himself or orchestrating things in a way that he has to answer to somebody. But Unclicked, I feel like that. Like Unclicked, that becomes present, where COD's just like cranking through them, just rocking through them, and he has a good flow, and it's really organic with whoever he has on. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that just made me be that much more aware of what you and I are doing, where time is precious and you're not just rambling, you know, actually have a focus on what's going on.
Yeah, I
mean, we should talk about our failed podcast. Like, we actually had a failure. Like, I went back, I listened to it, and I was just bummed out with myself. And I applied my observations with COD and other stuff going on. And then I was in a weird space where being trapped in Atlanta for a whole weekend, being stuck in an airport for like 48 hours, my brain was just mush. And I just was not. I could have conducted myself in a better manner and been more concise with things. So we kind of had, I don't know, I'll say my first failure. You know, I don't know if it was our first failure, but I wasn't super happy with it.
I was so annoyed and frustrated with the doctors and the hip thing that basically the failed pod was like a bitch fest of me bitching about healthcare and you bitching about your travel woes.
Yeah, it was. And I don't want to put listeners through that. Like, I don't want listeners to have to sit through me bitching about being in the airport and you know, and us both rambling about healthcare. I don't know. I want to be more constructive with what we present.
Yeah. And basically I could sum up what I wasted 45 minutes on the failed pod and just say, like, you know, if you get an MRI, it's going to cost you like $3,000. Ask them for a file. They're going to give you a disc that you probably won't be able to use. I made it a point to schedule another appointment with this guy, and I brought the disc in. I'm like, what's up? You know, I want to see you slide this in your disk drive, dog. I'm trying to find out what's up. And he's like, oh. And he pulls it up on a fucking web browser. I'm like, so these people could have just fucking, you know, whatever. But he was paging through my MRI with me, which was awesome. Like, that's exactly what I wanted. And he's like, he sees that little thing on my femur, and he's like, dude, that ain't nothing. And he like looks at the MRI, and he's like, oh, I've disagreed with this guy before.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and he's like, dude, he's like, that ain't nothing. You got something there. And he's like, you could do physical therapy. You can get a shot. He's like, the shot will help ease the pain and then inflammation, so then maybe you can work on it more. But like my dad said, like, you can hurt yourself more that way too. So it's like a catch-22. And then he was like, and then the last thing the doctor said, it was like, you can go get your hip like scoped out, which I think is like when they like smooth out. Because I basically have like a bone sticking out of my femur, or a little corner.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I knew it wasn't just soft tissue. Like this, my shit feels like my whole joint is messed up, dog. So
yeah,
at least I got that far.
Yeah, so you summed yours up in that amount. What did we talk about that for 15 or 20 minutes? So you just summed it up in a minute. I can sum my issues up with don't fly Frontier and don't fly over Christmas. Boom. Like that just eliminated my entire rant of what I went through. And it's like, Matt, you probably knew better, and look what you got yourself into. So yeah, we didn't want to put people through sitting through those two freaking rants.
We're not professional talking on the internet people. We're still figuring shit out.
Yeah, well, and you talking about the likelihood of a podcast personality having an editor. That's super interesting. Because there's been times where I've said, how do you have the time in the day? Like I know I can be lazy. I know I might do this, I might do that, but how do you really truly have the time in the day to film this podcast, edit it, ride, live life, take a dump, sleep? Do you truly have all that time?
Yeah.
And it does kind of become apparent there has to be some other force involved, whether it's an editor or whomever, but that's probably what it is.
Yeah, I think Canode's probably got some people helping him. He's mentioned it before. And then that's kind of where I've come to it, where I'm like, what am I trying to get out of this? How much do I really want to put into this? Because, I could be spending my time doing other things. But
yeah,
for me, it helps me because I'm like not around my friends as much, and I don't have that many friends here. So it's like the podcast turns into like a nice social thing for me.
Yeah.
I get that part I get a kick out of, giving back to BMX I get a kick out of. But like you said, like I had like seeing Canode pump shit out, seeing Brant pump shit out, it's like, Brant does his live. He just like will do a live joint and that's it. That's on the internet.
Dude, that's a special skill. That's an ability to be able to just raw dog it and like go through with no outline. Like, yeah, that is a real skill. And people don't realize that. I mean, that goes back to when we talked about, dude, I cannot get my freaking hat right. Oh my God. You see what I'm doing? Like, it is so crooked. I mean, that goes back to when we were talking about Ricky and Justin talking about like just slipping up on a live freaking thing because you are in the moment. Like, that's such a real thing that people are not aware of, and they see all these fine-tuned podcasts, whether it's Steve-O or whomever, and you don't realize like how many mistakes go into it, or how, like, if you're doing something else, if you can do a one take, that is a special ability.
Yo, the Howard Pod, no edits.
That was cool. And I was serious when I said that might not be the most catchy thing ever, but that is documenting BMX history. And that is awesome, just to have the person involved review that a decade later, kind of review where they're at. How many other times has BMX content been reviewed by the person themselves in that kind of scenario?
Yeah, from starting to current.
Yeah,
that's like the only
it could exist out there, but I mean, that was so beneficial to record and have it down. When you guys talking about the come up being lost and Vimeo stuff being lost. So it's like, okay, this is in the Different Spokes podcast. This is documented. Somebody can save this. Somebody has this now, and it's recorded.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird because initially I had asked him to just talk about the Widget video. Like, that was the whole idea. I helped him with the titles. I was like, do you want to do a pod about it? He said, yeah, sure. And it just snowballed because it was like, I could just talk to him about that. But the more I thought about him, I was like, dude, this guy's got so much history. And I don't think anybody's really heard it all. And he's been around for so long and he helps out so much. It's like, God damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like we had to do that first before we can just shoot the shit about stuff.
Yeah, and it depends on what view you're taking, because you could say, okay, that video didn't have an intro. It didn't have like the sound effects and the, hey, this is so-and-so, this is what we're going to do today. Mm-hmm. But when you look at what was recorded, it's so beneficial. And yeah, everything's not structured that way, where there's a lot of content where it might have like this really A through Z, like perfected structure, but I'm like, the content didn't really bring me in or didn't like wow me. Mm-hmm. And you were able to do something with this really engaging, really intriguing content.
Hell yeah. I hope Dig one, maybe it's a piece of criticism, whatever. I hope Dig posts like locals from here, from there, from Brazil and all this shit. And I'm like, that's so fucking dope. And we talked about this in the failed pod a little bit, like kind of like the vibe of just click on videos. Like you're more pro clicking on random names than I am, and you'll be able to find more shit than I would because you're just willing to click on stuff. And in my head, I'm like, I don't know that name. I don't know if it's going to be good at all, so I'm not really worried about it. But the truth of the matter is if there was any kind of like even like a short thing, like a short little 15-minute thing about the video. I know they dropped the brawls for like the big names, mm-hmm. but it's like, all right, you're gonna post a video of Random Rider X.
Yeah.
Can we get a little backstory on Random Rider X? Is this his first time on Dig? Like anything. That's where I think Canode and Dig could really, really pop off.
There's interesting pieces of that I want to kind of like, what's the word, like dissect, where I tend to click on a lot of the foreign stuff, mm-hmm. and I might not even watch the riding. Like I'll see a country and I'll say, I want to watch the spots in that country.
Right.
And embarrassingly enough, I'm not watching the rider, I'm watching the spots, or like I'm watching the surroundings.
Yeah.
And I was just listening to a pod and it was about the tricks. And I thought to myself, I'm not watching the tricks, I'm watching the spots. And I wonder how much of that phenomenon is out there. And that's why I am intrigued to click on the foreign stuff, because I watch something from California and I'm like, oh, that spot. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's my age or my focus or what, but I'm not necessarily interested in what the rider is doing, but I'm interested in the spot. Well, Howard kind of harped on that when he said it's about utilizing the spot, being something weird, seeking out that spot, and then achieving a goal on that spot that you might not have ever found otherwise. Mm-hmm. And that's way more interesting to me than somebody going to Baldy or whatever ledges in California or whatever, and possibly doing some never been done link of tricks where you lost me, because I'm like, oh, I've seen that spot before. Like I'm not that. So I mean, I'm sure everybody watches for all different reasons, yeah. But that's something that I watch for. And I don't know, I'm getting too rambly at this point, but I wanted to say, I click on all the weird stuff, because when you see an edit from, I don't know, North Korea, I'm kind of making that up. When you see an edit from the Ukraine, I'm going to click on that because I really want to see old spots or spots I've never seen before. Because when you're doing something on some foreign spot, I can almost guarantee you it's harder than doing it on a spot in California. That's just where my intrigue lies when it comes to content.
Some third world crust.
Exactly.
Speaking of videos, there is a topic I wanted to bring up. We can skip it if you want, but I wanted to mention props.
So I saw your note,
yeah.
And when the whole library came out, I bought it. Like I bought it just to have it. So I don't know if that's like an old person thing or what, but I was like, okay, this is in one place. I can buy 3 discs and I'm going to have this whole library of history, and I have it now.
Yeah.
And it was something that I wasn't able to collect over the years because I was like in my teens,
right? You're not buying
partying, whatever. Like I didn't collect it at the time. Mm-hmm. So to see it in one spot, I jumped on that and I paid the I don't know, what was it, $60, $80, $100? And I was just like, I'll have this forever. I got it. I'm good. So
Yeah. So I asked for the props box set for Christmas.
yeah.
And Leanne got me some bootleg random shit. It was like props Eurofools, props how to road fools something or other 6 maybe.
Yeah.
It was just like this ain't it. Like it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
We watched the one video together where it was the one where Dave Asado was on, a couple other people. It was Wiz was on, you know. It was a good fun video, but I wanted the box set. And then I was like, well, she had trouble finding it. Let me look into it. And I was like, oh, it's only available on fucking Blu-ray? Fucking Blu-ray? So I get it though. They were trying to
go ahead.
They were trying to nip progression in the bud and go from VHS mostly to a little bit of DVD to Blu-ray because they thought that was going to be the future. But it's like, I don't know anyone with a Blu. I guess if you're a gamer, you got like a disc.
No, dude, I was gonna say, what does everybody have? They have PlayStation, they have Xbox, they have whatever, and you can play that.
Right.
I think I feel like I'm on the flip side of you, where when Laura and I first met, like I still had a VHS player. She was like, yo, you got to throw that shit away. Throw it away. I had a DVD player. She was like, you got to throw that away. And I even had a Blu-ray player. And she was like, can you play that on your PlayStation? And I was like, yeah. She was like, you got to throw that away. So like, you know, I threw away all that stuff. And if I want to watch a DVD or a Blu-ray or whatever, I play it on my PlayStation.
That's sick. At least you have something.
I don't know if I can put it in my laptop. But there's times like we plug her laptop into the TV. And again, you know, caveman Matt, I don't know what stuff is. You plug things in, like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I can play that Blu-ray on my PlayStation and like, I am good. And I think so many kids or so many people nowadays do have a video game system where you are good to play that newer technology. And that newer technology does allow for the older DVDs. When it comes to VHS, that is a sect of something that you do still need a VHS. I'm saying VHS player. You need a VCR. I know the word for it. So yeah, how many people did retain a VCR that they can play that older stuff? But when it comes to like a disc format, I think you are good with a Blu-ray. Like, so I don't butt heads, but like I think you are good with that.
Is Blu-ray reverse compatible? Can you play plain Jane DVDs in there?
I'm pretty sure I could. When I had a Blu-ray player before I was forced to throw it away, yeah, I'm pretty sure I could play regular. So the only thing I ever ran into is European DVDs didn't always play on American DVD players. Like I got a might have been like Dub 4, Dub Homegrown, whatever it was, and I couldn't play that on my DVD player, but I could play it. I might have had like Xbox at the time, and it would work on my Xbox, but American DVD players didn't always read foreign DVDs.
So what gaming system do you have? So maybe I'm just in the fucking past here with not actually having something that can play a Blu-ray.
So when Ishan got PlayStation 5 and he had a PlayStation 4, and I was like, yo, you looking to sell that? And he sold it to me for like $100, you know, whatever it might have been.
Okay.
And he basically gave me his PlayStation 4. And like I'm not a gamer, but like if I wake up early in the morning, I might play video games, or like if Laura's away for the weekend, I might play a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that pretty much plays any kind of disc on a PlayStation 4.
So that's where I fucked up. So I have an iPad, and then I found out that you can connect a controller to it. So
oh yeah.
I do something similar to you, except I never ended up getting a gaming system. I get on the indoor bike. This is a life hack for anybody who has an indoor bike and it's got the winter blues and you're looking for the next best thing to BMX. I put on the Call of Duty fucking mobile thing, right?
Oh, you were telling me about this.
Yo,
Now I do remember you talking about that. Yeah.
I'm sitting there. I'm playing Call of Duty while I'm pedaling on the indoor bike.
Yep.
And it's great because you're thinking really fast, but you're like getting your physical out of the So I don't really need a system. So maybe I should just buy a DVD, a Blu-ray player, because like now I'm looking at like, all right, maybe I'll grin and bear it and buy the Blu-ray kit, right, or the Blu-ray set. But I'm thinking, props isn't even around anymore. Like, what's this money even going to? Should I just like bootleg your version, your discs? Like,
yeah. I don't think a Blu-ray player is more than like $80. It's probably cheap. Like
yeah, they're probably cheap.
I have no idea. Like,
let's pull it
but
up.
Like,
Loughead.
Yeah, go ahead, pull it up. But yeah, if you don't play any kind of video games, you're right. What use is there here?
I do play video games, just whatever I can get away with on the iPad.
Yeah.
I get enough out of playing Call of Duty that's all I needed. $60.
This you want to talk about like a middle 30s rabbit hole. So many of Laura's girlfriends, like they all have kids, all their little kids watch all the Disney movies. Yeah. When I moved out, my mom gave me a freaking, the box paper reams come in?
Yes. She
gave me one of those of Disney VHSs.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, okay, great. I have this now.
The white
and I guess
plastic.
Like if I wanted to show those, like if my kids wanted to watch Disney movies, and if you bought a Blu-ray VHS player, those probably exist. People had home movies. Like think about how many like years of family videos are on VHSs.
Yeah.
But it's like worth the investment because it's $80. You're going to be able to play Disney VHSs for your little kid. Like, I don't know, like of all the things you could have, like that's not the worst thing to invest $80 in.
Yeah, especially because you're gonna get so much enjoy. Like you just sold me on a Blu-ray player. I might buy the props box set tonight and a fucking Blu-ray player. Like I'm so excited.
I have a giant fucking stack of discs that go back, I don't know, 15 years. And I did need some kind of disc player, and luckily it ultimately culminated in a PlayStation 4. But I would have had to keep something otherwise.
Right.
The only reason I got rid of the previous stuff was because, oh, can't you do this? Can't you do that? Oh, this can do that. And I was like, yeah. So I don't need all these. Toss them.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
So basically, if you have like a modern video game console,
you're good.
And you have a VHS, a VCR, you're covered for all content.
Right. Damn. I'm stoked. I was all ready to bitch about props, but instead you turned me around and I'm about to fucking buy some shit.
Yeah. Oh, and you have it, and it's all in one place. And here, look, it takes up that much room on your DVD shelf. You could buy that, however many, my hands aren't even big enough to cover everything, or you can have that much on your shelf. Completely. And everything is there.
Yeah. I've always wanted to like go back and watch them, and it's like the web presence like of all that shit is so sparse and weird. I know Angus was watching stuff. He was telling me that he was seeing some props episodes.
We didn't even talk about. So Angus is moving 2 towns over from me.
Yeah.
So I'm so stoked on that because like I need some type of new motivation, and for him to be 2 towns over, like not that we're in bumblefuck, but like we're not in the most poppin' area, and he's in like an even less poppin' area than me.
Damn.
And he's coming up on drinking age finally. How old is he? I don't even freaking know how old he is.
He was
so
born
it's like,
in
okay,
2000, dude. He's been.
He was born in 2000, so he can finally drink, I guess.
Yeah.
So Angus is going to live 2 towns over, be able to drink. We have like 3 skate parks in between us. I have all these spots. He sent me a spot the other day. He was like, "Hey, found this on on my way to my new job." I was like, "Dude, been there with Justin. Let's go." Like, I was like, I have multiple weekends worth of gems where we live, and then you can go to Reading for like however many weekends, like however many days of riding. Like Reading will keep you busy for a hot one. You go up to Allentown, you go up to Bethlehem. Like, I'm stoked for him to be out this way.
Yeah. I'm stoked and jealous.
Yeah. Well, being jealous of somebody that's 21 years old, like not worrying about shit, having an apartment, like, but he does. When him and I talk, he talks like an adult, or like how do you define adult nowadays? He talks like somebody in their middle 30s, where he'll like talk about work or he'll talk about this. And I'm like, damn, dude, you sound like me. Like, you sound like somebody 10 years older than you.
Yeah.
And just having him do like R&D for the pedals, and like I've sent him like all these parts, like it is going to be awesome to have him close by now, just with the warpath that he's been on, and then how he can convey things, and then where he's at in life. Like Angus is meant to be your modern pro, like your modern young pro. He brings everything to the table. And I hope people recognize that, because he has all those pieces.
He really does. This past year, I actually drove down. Last time I was in PA was to hang out with, before I came down for the Shimpf Jam, I came down for his birthday.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's go. I was like, what do you want to do? And he's like, let's go ride. I'm like, all right, sick. So we went and rode, and then afterwards we went and got a beer. And I was telling him, like, dude, I wish I was like as well-mannered and as smart as you at your age, like how young you are. Like, you're just
he is so much better focused. Where like at his age, I was worried about like alcohol, getting laid, and like BMX. And like he just has such a better focus on life, where he is just so far ahead of where I was.
I think he's got that like he's able to learn from others without having to make those mistakes.
Yes. Yeah. It's so beneficial to just like look at the people around you, be like, this guy fucked up. Don't do this. Yeah. Like,
yo, remember,
go ahead.
Remember when I had him and Reiner on?
Yeah.
And Angus said something like, oh yeah, and Matt, you're really into BMX. And I was like, damn, dude, you just like, like he just called me out for being too into BMX, dude.
Yeah. Well, because he's got so many hobbies, like his car hobbies. You got to get him on here. Like, I think we should freaking three-way Angus, like get him on here, because his car hobbies and what he's achieving. And you have a car hobby and you're like flipping cars, you're restoring cars. That's like real life shit. That's not just BMX that like doesn't get you anywhere. Like he's doing real life things that are beneficial to his progression and success in life. And yeah, I mean,
he's kind of like an East Coast Denim Cox in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know that he can convey how successful he is. Like he has to be like analyzed. Like older people can be like, Angus, you're doing this. He doesn't even know he's doing it, and how good of a thing it is that he's doing.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely going to be something for sure. I watched him like, I remember when I first fucking met him, he was like, didn't have that many tricks. Like he was just a little kid. He was like 16, and he was like just trying to like 180 to feeble grind. Like he just boom, explosion. Like he's a monster. Shout out to him.
Yep.
So maybe I told him after he moves, I'm trying to come down. So maybe we can all like podcast in person or something. That'd be fun as fuck.
That would be so sick. Yeah, for us, dude, you're more than welcome to come here anytime. But yeah, for us to be, he's probably going to be like 15 minutes away from me.
Yeah, solid.
So yeah, hell yeah. There's so much to do, like between the two of us. If you came down, like that would be awesome.
Hell yeah. Yo, on our shared notes, I can see where you are, where your cursor is.
I'm editing right now, and I see MS on there.
That's sick.
And I want to see what you have to say about commenting on random people's Instagrams.
Yeah. So I've done it. I don't do it to everybody, but like I've never met DeMarcus Paul in person or anything, but I'm a big fan of his fucking bar spins. I think he's got some of the nicest ones, and it's like sometimes I comment on people's shit and I'm like, man, is this whack? Am I like super commenter, dude?
Well, what kind of comments do you make?
Huh?
What kind of comments do you make?
Always compliments. But it's also like sometimes a random person will comment on my shit, and even if it's a compliment, it's like you just think you can do that? It's almost like weird in a way.
See, like I'll comment on somebody I don't know, and I'll say they'll do some crazy trick, and I'll be like, damn, that spot looks awesome. Like, I don't know if that's like not addressing what they did, but that was my focus where I'm like, yo, I was looking at the spot. I wasn't really watching you. Like, I don't know.
I think it's all's fair as long as you're not like, where is the spot? Or
yeah, as long as it's positive. Yo, that spot looks awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
I gave you a compliment, kind of.
Right. I remember when, like, on the Instagram, especially when it was like we were riding street that day and we posted that day, people would be like, "Where's the spot? Where's the spot?" Everybody, like, it was like the default comment, "Where's your spot?" And it's like, motherfucker, I'm not telling you in a public forum. Like, DM me maybe.
Yeah, we talked about that before. I'm not telling you where I committed trespassing fine, or I broke the law, trespassing, or vandalism or whatever.
Oh yeah, it's right by Perth Amboy High School. Like, I'll see you there on Tuesdays between 6 and 11. Like.
Yo, don't even get me started on how I fell for that. Like, did I ever tell you that story?
No.
Oh, dude. So it was Jeff with glasses got me. Oh, I know, it's fucking hilarious. Like, so he got me. I never even knew anything. He got me like 15 years ago. So I asked him where a spot was. Fully trusting humanity. He says, "Oh, behind Perth Amboy High School." So I fucking drive like 3 hours out there, and I'm like circling the high school. I'm like, I don't see it. And like, dude, I knew nothing about that. Like, he fully got me. Like, I completely fell for it. Like, damn. Yep. We made the best of it. I forget who I drove out with, but I fully went 3 hours to Perth Amboy High School. Did not find the spot. Got dicked. He got me. I fell for it. So that was me in like my early 20s. Got me.
I've driven to a spot before without my bike and got there. I was like, wait, it's not in the trunk. Back when I had that Volkswagen, that Jetta.
Oh yeah.
I specifically bought that car because I could fit my bike in the trunk without taking anything off. Back when we had little bars,
Yeah.
And I swore it was in the trunk. Get to the spot. It was like a barrier spot where the barrier was like knocked over. I'm like, oh fuck. It wasn't as far as 3 hours though. That's for sure.
I mean, that had to be damn near, what was that, 15 years ago? I mean, that was easily almost 20 years ago you did that.
Yeah. How crazy
that was
is that?
Pre-smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. The Angel of Death. I remember, like, on your front windshield, it said Angel of Death on the top.
Yeah. I was, like, really stoked on that for some reason. I still have a picture of it somewhere. I probably looked like the biggest goon driving that shit around.
I don't know what people would have thought back then. Like, because I had that van that the whole rear windshield was the 2x4 death metal logo. And, like, I probably looked like such a police target, like, pulled this guy over. Like, this guy in this minivan with black steelies and this stupid 2x4 death metal logo on the whole rear windshield.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Like, I think about that now. It might have been a GT trip. I forget who it was. It was either Profile or GT. And somebody's driving like a white Honda minivan. And I was like, dude, that's the sleeper. Like, that's how you have to fucking do it. Don't draw attention. Don't have like some big van with stickers all over it. Just have the sleeper. Just blend in, like,
low key.
Yep.
That's why I don't even put any stickers on my car anymore. Like, fuck that.
Oh, I got none on mine. I'm like, I want no attention drawn to me at all.
And then it's like it's like at one point we both had like stickers all over our car, big stickers. And then like now we're like, yeah, let's keep it low key. And now that we've gotten to that point and we see people with like stickers in their car, it's like they're just dying for you to ask them about that sticker on their car.
Yeah, it can go any type of way, but like, it's just the idea that like cops are out to get you. They're looking for something that like gets their attention, and they're gonna like come after you based on that.
Yeah, shit gets a little screwy. But yeah, I think it's okay to comment on random people's IGs, but I wonder what everybody else thinks. I kind of wanted to open that up to the audience and see if they can chime in on it.
And I guess it depends on your clout. Is it the or different spokes commenting on your post, or is it Matt Loughead with like 1,500 followers? Like, I don't know. Is there a difference in how you receive who's commenting?
Yeah.
Because you know what? Like, I've had random people, now that I'm thinking about this, I have had random people comment. And if I go on your Instagram and you kind of look like me, I'm going to take you a little more seriously. Or if I go on your Instagram and you have you smoking weed in a trailer and Insane Clown Posse logos, like, I'm going to react differently than if you look like me or not.
Mm-hmm. Right. I there's like that one dude I follow. He's a small person. He like rides like a 16-inch bike. I think he's in like Ecuador or Brazil or somewhere.
Oh yeah.
I forget. But he had this one line and I was like, yo, that was fucking fire. Like, I'm so stoked on this dude. Like, more props to him. I like commented like a little fire emoji and I saw that he liked it and I'm like, hell yeah, he knows I exist.
Yeah, and so if it's somebody foreign, like, all the rules go out the window. You can say not whatever you want. You can say constructively whatever you want to anybody foreign, and they're going to have to translate it, but it's going to be positive. As long as it's positive, like, people want to see that stuff.
Oh, I commented on Albert Mercado's Instagram recently. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
He hopped on like a big concrete ball to jump on another concrete ball, and DeMarcus Paul commented on it with like an 8-ball. And I immediately was thinking about pool, and I saw Albert's clip. And my dad is like a semi-pro pool player. He like hustles people in the county. He's legit.
In Lebanon?
Huh?
In Lebanon?
Yeah, he's like legit for like that wing of the state or something. But they always talk about English, you got to put English on the ball. That's how you get like the weird spin. It's also in ping pong, when you're spinning the ball.
Yep.
So I commented on it and I said, that's some good English you got there. And I was like, I hope he takes this the right way. Like, Albert and I have commented back and forth enough that I hope and think he'll take this the right way. I'm not,
Yeah.
But I think he did. He liked it at the very least. But yeah, like, oh man, should we talk about some of the fire edits we saw recently?
I mean, there's so many, dude. It's hard to keep up with. That's that content overload. Well, we talked about Julian's edit, and it was super interesting. Like, what happened with that, like, ABD of that edit? Like, where did that go? Like, we kind of talked about that.
ABD.
Didn't he have a clip in the edit that was ABD?
The new Julian edit?
Yeah. I didn't really grasp everything that was going on, but it felt like somebody had done it. He had done it. I don't know if it was like in the trailer. I don't think it was in the edit, but it seemed like there was some degree of overlap. But if you didn't see any of that, like, we don't have to harp on it. But I thought that was out there. But no, anything that Sunday puts out is awesome. Anything that Julian puts out is awesome. You don't even have to, like, I mean, I feel like if you see those names, there's no question. Like, click on it, play it. Yeah. It's going to be good. You're going to enjoy yourself. Play it big on the TV, and it's going to be really watchable.
That Julian edit is something I feel like I could watch again. It was so satisfying to watch.
Oh yeah, it was a DVD part that if it was on a disc, I would play it again. You're exactly right.
Like, the way he was like popping out of, like, tucking his knees up, that goes a long way.
He reminds me of Dak to an extent with, like, how he conducts himself. Ooh, my printer's done. Ooh, do you want to do something like literally on video right now of the printer, like, sure, with the levers?
Yeah.
Let me unplug my headphones.
Cool.
So can you hear me?
Yep.
Like, nod if you can hear me. So these are some levers, different spoke levers that are done right now. Just came hot off the press.
He's not going to bend.
We're going to pop these bad boys off, brand new. I don't know if you can hear me, but we're going to try to do this anyway. So these are fresh. They got a little bit of boogies on there, but this is fresh off the printer. Different spokes. Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Different spokes.
Nice.
right off the printer. So that's what you get. I don't know where the thing is. But so, yeah, that is how they come off. Right off the printer right now, mid-podcast. Matt, can't hear you. Sorry. Took my headphones out. But we're good.
Solid. Real good.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I had no headphones. I don't know. That was kind of cool. Like, I did not plan. I can't do technology. I'm not good at that. But that was kind of cool to have, like, some levers come hot off the printer in the middle of the podcast. That was cool.
Yeah, definitely.
What were you saying? Like, sorry, I couldn't hear shit. Like, I don't know. I just wanted to, like, show people. I thought that was really cool that they're.
So you don't have to, like, clean them up at all? You don't have to break anything off or nothing?
I mean, there's like a tiny bit of boogies on there, but no, I mean that is ready. I mean that's strong. Like you have to really try to break that. Like you would literally you would have to have the intent of breaking it to break it. Right. So
we should say we should mention that you're printing with a tough grade stuff. You're not printing with plain Jane shit.
Yeah, I mean, well, so the orange ones are the strongest filament that I've used. And this is kind of not a newer filament. It's a newer filament for me. But they have a lot of colors available. So, maybe if people are really into them and they hold up well, this filament has more colors than like any other brand that I've really tried printing with that I've been happy with. So I've had no failures. I did that benchy. Perfect. I mean, so to have no failures at all, I'm very happy with how that filament's performed.
Solid.
I didn't mean to like railroad what we were doing, but I heard the printer kick off and I was like, I got to do this mid-podcast. Like, levers are done.
Yo, I didn't even hear the printer running, but it does sound like your audio is way more clear now.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the spool. Actually, I can't fucking point to it because it's reverse.
Yeah.
Boom. There's the spool right there. I'm terrible at like how the camera works and all that. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it's been fun because I told you about that one filament that the neon green ones. Like I was not happy with that filament. I had a couple failures. Like it just pissed me off. And you learn what you want to print with and how things hold up.
It's like to get certain colors, sometimes weird shit has to happen, and that fucks with the makeup of certain things.
Yeah, because I know down the line, like what people purchase, it might be purchased based on color, but I want the performance to still be there. So I want to make sure that brand can perform well, and it's not just like color based. So we know what the strongest, best product is, but they have the fewest colors. So I don't know. Yeah. Are people going to want to buy based on color or based on performance?
We'll find out. We will fucketh around and findeth out.
These tire levers have been a focus of my life for like 3 months now. Like, I don't know. I've spent so much time
I sent you the file and you just like
dived into this. Yeah.
With it.
So it's been fun. It was a learning experience, and it's been fun to do together.
Hell yeah. Shit, man. Where do we go from here?
Oh man, what did we cover? I think we covered a ton of stuff. What are we at the hour and a half mark?
Yeah.
Hold on, we probably have some shit we didn't talk about. I don't even know that we have to break down like any specific edit. It would be kind of interesting to talk about like what we watch outside of BMX edits. Like I know I send you snow skating, I send you snowboarding, I send you freaking all kinds of edits outside of BMX, and that's super interesting. We talked about that. We talked about that parkour contest that we watched a while ago.
That was crazy.
But just seeing how people create content so similar to ours, whether it's like on snow or whether it's on a scooter, whatever, that content is just as enjoyable to watch as BMX content based on the spots and what people are doing. That's like fun. If you're like open to those ideas.
Right. I was going to say like even random shit. Like there's this guy named Jerry Rig Everything. He fucking he does a lot of cool shit. But one of the things he was doing is he was building his own electric Hummer.
Like, that's cool.
The dude just, you know what I mean, like it's like one thing you have to have the skills to do the thing you're gonna do. Then you have to document it, and then you have to like edit it in a palatable format and put it out there. It's like there's a lot more work to it behind the scenes of like shit than
well, and obvious. Just drawing in the audience. Like what I watch on YouTube is so like I watch goofy stuff on YouTube that people wouldn't normally think about. I watch this guy in Florida that does scrapping, and he scraps like, dude, I'm serious. I watch this guy, and it's him like breaking down like copper tubing, like copper, whatever, aluminum, and I'm super intrigued by that because Homeboy is making like $1,500 in a day, and I'm like, I don't fucking make that. Like, granted, more goes into it than that, but it's like, okay, you're making $1,500 in a day. I don't make that. You own your own shop, and you're doing all this in Florida, so I'm intrigued by that. It's all about how you present the content. Like, I watch this like goofball kid that lives in Florida, and he catches fish like in the sewers and like in the ponds of Florida. And then I guess he sells them. I don't know what he does, but I'm like, okay, you've sucked me in. Like, I'm so intrigued by this. Like, I don't understand catching crayfish in a sewer in Florida. Like, I don't know. Yeah. And then I watch. I'm doing like my top 3. So I watched another guy that he paints Warhammer miniatures. Like you and I were talking about Warhammer, like 40K and fantasy. And I watch what he does, and I'm kind of envious. Like, I wish I had that skill to like paint something like that and create that. So you might be primarily involved in house projects and BMX, but you wind up watching somebody that's painting miniatures, catching fish in Florida and scrapping freaking copper. Like, I don't, you just wind up going down different rabbit holes of what you don't even know you're interested in until you see it pop up, and then it's like, okay, I'm gonna follow that.
Yeah, like home shit. Like there's like Instagram accounts I started following, like doing like real quick home fixes, random things. Like there's so much out there, and like I'll sometimes put off watching an edit because I'm like, I have the time to watch it this second, but I'm not near my TV. I don't want to watch it on my phone. On an
exactly.
iPad,
yep, you got to watch it big on the TV.
I want it big, like, because I want to enjoy the BMX content especially as much as possible. And I feel like there's a lot of edits that have come out that I haven't even seen yet. But I'll talk to you after this. I got some ideas on how we can tackle that.
I love when I might be old and disconnected, but like Trevor Sigloch on Colt, like I didn't know he was on Colt. Like I kind of lost track of him. Like I remember Trevor Sigloch when he was on Fit with long dreadlocks. Mm-hmm. And I go on my YouTube one day and I'm like, okay, I see Trevor Sigloch on Colt and he's dropping in on a roof.
Yeah.
And he's riding pools. Well, I knew he made his own DIY. Like I was kind of keeping up with that, like whatever his Instagram was. But I'm like, that's awesome that he created his own DIY. But to see him pop up, and again, like I'm a product of algorithms. Mm-hmm. So Colt, Trevor Sigloch, whatever pops up on my YouTube algorithm, and I fully feed into that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to click on that. Like, it's BMX, it's DIY, it's whatever. And I wind up watching his edit and I'm like, yo, Matt, this is awesome. Watch this. And it's just super interesting. Like the algorithms, they know you. Like be conscious of what you click on because your algorithms are going to like follow you.
Yeah.
So if you do have a direction that you want to go in, click on those algorithms with purpose.
Yeah.
And you'll be given content that you are interested in.
Yeah, you can be intentional. You don't have to be a victim of the algorithm. You can actually benefit from it if you're intentional.
Exactly. Yeah.
I did that with my personal Instagram. I've been getting really into calligraphy. It's something I've always wanted to be good at, but been cursed to be bad at because I'm left-handed. So if you see a video, right-handed people, like calligraphy was meant for right-handed people that used to have to like write the Bible word for word. Okay, so these people, I mean, yeah, they were writing it, but they also were trying to write fast. So if you look up left-handed calligraphy, they're turning the paper sideways, they're writing shit upside down, they're turning their wrist weird, and it's like, bro, I want my shit to flow like I'm seeing all these right-handed people do.
Yeah.
So I found some left-handed people. I'm clicking on this shit. Now my Explore page, nothing but calligraphy, and I love it. But it goes back to what we were saying about like, depends on who comments on what. Like, because for the longest time, I would just comment as the yeah, and it wasn't until I left Kink that I started my personal Instagram. And now, between Diffrent spokes, the yeah, and my personal, it's like I'm kind of following the same people in all three, which kind of sucks. And I'm at the point, not to throw us into this topic, but we'll see where we go, of segmenting my feeds out. So I was thinking of following all the BMX people, especially the BMX people I don't know that well, on Diffrent spokes IG, and hiding them off my personal, not unfollowing them, just hiding them. So that way, like, I go on my personal feed, I see shit a little bit more, closer to personal, and I can go on Diffrent spokes, and that's when I can extend those olive branches out and see like some random shit. Does that make sense? Like,
well, yeah. So there is playing the game of going down like YouTube rabbit holes and like keeping up with those algorithms, and then there's like Zach and I talk about, once your content is not on YouTube anymore, you go on to like Odyssey, like the fun stuff. You're on Odyssey with 2 E's, looking up content, whether it's print, shoot, repeat, it's Zach stuff, whomever, and you're in a whole different browser trying to figure out stuff because you're playing against the algorithms of YouTube, where YouTube doesn't allow that anymore. And it's like, okay, I have to move on to another platform. Now I'm looking at this, and certain genres like outgrow YouTube, or YouTube only takes you so far, right, and then you have to move on to something else. And it's like, it's kind of like how like MySpace died, is Instagram dying. You have Twitter, you have Snapchat, like they fill their like niche realms of things, but you play the algorithm game, and then there's like, okay, I want to go towards this, but what do I really want to find? And what you really want to find might be on a different platform, and then there's what YouTube tells you is okay. Mm-hmm. And I kind of play that fine line where it's like, okay, I enjoy finding like scrapping and fish videos on YouTube, but I want to find like building fun projects somewhere else, and then I wind up on Odyssey, and I'm going down like an Odyssey rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm, right.
Because you know what I'm talking about, like different projects that
different interests you can't get in certain places.
Yeah, different projects that aren't mainstream, that like YouTube doesn't support, Google doesn't support, and you have to go to a different entity to find insight on those projects that you're working on.
Mm-hmm. Big time. I did see on that Trevor Sigloch, either was on Instagram or YouTube, I forget which one, but the comments on it were like, he's on call. Like, I think that was his welcome to video.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a good way to announce, and really, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, people hadn't seen anything from him. I didn't really know he cut his hair off, like maybe I'm the average viewer, mm-hmm. but I'm the average viewer, and I'm like, oh, you cut your hair off. Oh, you're on a different company. Oh, you're doing this. I had really only seen that he made that DIY, and that was like his thing. Mm-hmm. And, do we tackle how many people have left Fit and gone on Colt? Like, do we really talk about that? But like, that seems to be such a trend where people want, we didn't talk about the Unclicked podcast with the creativity and kind of calling out Tate. Dude, that kind of like caused some drama. And then calling out Yumi. Dude, I did not know Yumi had left Fit. I didn't know he was on Stranger. I don't even really know what Stranger's doing. They're like super interesting, like feel free to cut this out later, but like, I don't know. I don't keep up with them. Like, they're not in the public eye. But I did not know Yumi had left Fit to go to Stranger.
I knew he was on Stranger, but that's probably as much as I like had gathered. That was it.
Well, and the way his writing was described, like it was so interesting because you're doing something that is difficult, it's unique, and it's not dangerous, but it's still watchable.
I mean, some of the stuff
So
still
that's
is
all the
dangerous.
value.
What's that? I'm sorry.
I said so that creates all the value where it's watchable, it's unique, it's interesting. The danger aspect isn't there, but I'm still drawn in.
Right.
Like it's still so interesting to watch.
Yeah, I guess I'll cut this out, but I'll just say it. But like the way he would, I stopped following him a long time ago because the way he was self-editing, I was like, yo, I can't handle this. And I mean, he was ahead of the curve in the self-editing realm in a sense because he was like basically making TikToks with his writing. You know, like here's a B-roll of a butterfly. All of a sudden, I just did a peg doink, and it's like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Well, and I remember talking shit at the time and being like, fuck, whatever, like not into it. But in hindsight, watching what he's doing, and I can see the value in it now.
Yeah, it really wasn't.
And it is something different. And the different stuff is what catches your eye, and you're going to click on that. And even if you don't enjoy it, you're going to be more likely to click on it than if you do enjoy it. And you could even apply that there's a cultural difference. He might not understand why Americans are reacting in the way they are because this might be the way things are where he's from.
Right.
And there's that cultural divide, that cultural difference. And I don't know, you have to have a wider mindset of viewing something than just hating on it because of how America is.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, shit. Oh, I mean, I guess that puts us into the active versus whacktive type shit.
Dude, so that's something I think about all the time. So it was crazy how it didn't even dawn on me till pretty recently. But all the podcasts that we do, we record. And we might be viewing videos, we might be looking at a product, we might be looking at a shoe, whatever. And I found myself, whenever I'm listening to a podcast, I have my earmuffs on, I'm doing yard work, I'm doing something in the basement, I'm doing something where ultimately I'm never at a screen. Recently, I'm driving to and from work, and I thought to myself, all this content where, whether it's something you and I are doing or Canode's doing or Unclicked is, whomever, I'm like, I'm not watching this. I'm only listening to this. And it was super interesting where it never even dawned on me that you and I were making videos. And I was like, I'm not watching these. It never clicked. It never clicked with me. It just never really sunk in until, you and Howard did the one podcast. And then I think Canode and Felix were doing a podcast. And I was like, I'm driving to and from work. I'm not watching this. So I'm missing out. And it was super interesting where this content is being viewed, but ultimately I'm listening to this where I'm driving. I'm listening solely. I'm not viewing. And it just never dawned on me that you and I were creating content that people might only be listening, not viewing. And that was kind of an interesting revelation for me, where how many people are just listening, not viewing.
Right. And that's why I wanted to get the video stuff set up correctly, because if there's, I want to be able to show something when it does become important to be visual. Like when you listen to the Rogan pod or anybody really, and they pull up in the, a new electric car that's got a fake muffler and they're playing it, and you're like, I want to see what that car looks like. I'll pull my phone out, I'll tap, and I'll pull it up and watch, that part that's actually worth watching, and then go back to just solely listening. And I wanted our podcast to be that way, so that way like when the visuals are needed, we can have them.
Well, so what I ran into is I'm driving to work, and I can't pull that up.
Right.
And like I said, it never dawned on me before, and it made me want to think like how many people are actively sitting at a screen, or how many people can access their phone, and like what is the dynamic of you're driving to work or you're doing yard work, like your headphones are the only thing, and how many people can view the content. And then it just never dawned on me before.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy when you think about people are staring at you talking.
Well, yeah, if somebody is consuming your content, like, are they sitting at work watching this, or are they sitting at home? But I just saw an edit of like some girl made a TikTok of her boyfriend watching like competitive Call of Duty on TV. Jesus. And the topic was like, does your boyfriend watch competitive video games like he watches NFL sports? And I was like, that's so interesting. Like, who is watching a podcast on TV, or who is like, how do people consume content? Just because like I listen to content driving to and from work, but how many other ways of listening to this are out there?
Mm-hmm. The Spotify one I like a lot because you don't have to have a YouTube subscription. You don't have to pay for YouTube Premium, and you can like listen, but then also view whenever you feel like it, and still be able to turn your phone off and put it in your pocket without the screen going, which I think is pretty sweet.
Well, yeah, that's like when you send me like YouTube videos, I'm like, motherfucker, I can't X out of this and like do yard work. Like, you sent me this freaking YouTube video, and you're like, oh, just download YouTube Premium. I'm like, I don't have YouTube Premium. Like, I can't freaking watch this. Like, I don't know. I'm giving you a hard time, but like, that's kind of funny when that comes up.
Mm-hmm. Big time. So, yeah, I got some ideas of how we can do some more visual stuff moving forward for sure. But
it would be interesting to see like who solely listens and who views. Like, can you see that on your end?
No, I mean, not really, because
okay, I didn't know if there were like a spreadsheet of who listens and who views.
That's gonna have to be the next analytic that drops, because like I can see on YouTube that people watch, and then like the retention goes down as the video goes longer, but I can't see, oh, that person actually watched it, that person actually listened to it. But because the podcast is published in all these different places, it's like a soft version of that. So it's like, okay, I got 100 views on YouTube, but I got 300 views on the podcast thing. And if I go into the podcast thing, I can see how many people listen to Spotify, where you can also view it. So it's like, it's not quite accurate to what you want, what you're talking about, but it's like,
Well, and you know what? I apologize. I kind of took away from your original focus was engagement. And like, where do you draw the line of what is engaging and what is like whack? And I said, like, do you have people do a video about like using your tire levers? Like, do you have a video about like, how do you use this wax? Like, where do you draw the line of like, you're trying too hard and people actually like engaging you, like really in the field? And yeah, I mean, you see stuff all the time. It'll be like somebody that'll say like, I don't know, how do you wear this? Like, what do you do at night? Or like something that's fucking stupid. And like, I know that it doesn't want to be that, but you also want to have the feedback of, how do people use these tire levers? How do people use this wax? Like, what are you doing? And it is like an interesting concept of what are the customers, the clients doing in the field?
Yeah, I think it comes back to like maybe a little bit of branding, thinking of it that way. Like, if I make a video about, oh, this is how you use the tire lever, this is how you don't break the tire lever, whatever, like,
yeah,
if I did another video that same time the following week, this is how you use the tire lever again, like, and maybe use a different title, but end up the content is still basically the same. I think that's where it gets whack.
Okay.
It becomes like deceiving. Like, if as long as you have like a fresh point, or like it's like informative. You ever hear Mr. Beast talk about this shit? It's actually really good.
I know who you mean, but like I've never seen any of his stuff.
Yo, he's super captivating to listen to him talk, because he's like, it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, it's all about making a good video. He's like, if your video is good, it will be rewarded by the algorithm and blow up. Perfect example is, like, I published a little snippet of Howard and I talking about the animal let him have at graphics, and I didn't pull up the graphics when we were talking about them, but in retrospect, after I posted it, I'm like, I could have threw up each graphic as we were talking about it. Even like when he was talking about the animal can I eat Vinny salmon graphics, I was like, if I really wanted to, and this goes back to what you were saying before, like having the time to really make that 2-minute video as interesting as possible to the person watching, which is something I'm trying to do rolling forward. Like, it's baby steps, because I got other shit going on. I don't have that much time. I'm spending 2 hours doing this podcast, and I'm going to spend 2 hours making all these little videos and then editing them down.
Well, yeah, and like, where do you dump your effort? Is somebody watching this, or are they listening?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because like I find myself, like, I don't ever watch podcast content. I listen to it.
Right.
So what is the average person doing? Like, are they sitting at their TV? Are they sitting at, like, I don't know, any kind of workplace? Like,
we could do it this way. If you made it this far in this video, comment on YouTube, tweet at us, comment on Instagram, let us know if you watched or listened to it. That's the first step right here.
Yeah, right here. Like, if you got this far, are you listening or watching? Yeah. And yeah, I would say, like, I'm listening because I'm outside doing yard work, like I'm doing housework, like whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And the benefit of this podcast is, other than maybe like the tire levers, like, what visual do we have?
Not much so far, other than like the tire levers and the merch.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yo, let me hit the bathroom real quick, and I'll be like 2 seconds.
Okay. But thanks again for being on the show.
Yeah, for sure. It was fun. We're at like 2.5 hours, like almost on the dot. Like,
yep.
I think we did, like, our last failure was like such a bummer. Like, I think we did way better this time. Yeah. So glad we were more concise, and glad we like had our topics planned out. And I think this can definitely be like a more, maybe not weekly, but like not bi-monthly. What do you call like 2 weeks? Like bi-weekly? Like, I think we can pull this off like pretty more regularly, like, for people to be interested in and people to find this like relatable. Like, I think we can achieve that.
Hell yeah, man. Well, have a good rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, definitely. Enjoy your Sunday afternoon.
Hell yeah.
See you, man.
Time to work on the house. Peace.
Yeah, right.